Good afternoon. Welcome to a beautiful sunny Les Sables d'Olonne. It's 13:30 here in France, 12:30 in London. And the news from the racecourse is that Alex Thompson is on top this afternoon, leading the fleet. He's making around about 15 knots, 9 miles up on Charlie Dallin. It should be a good day for the fast foilers coming downwind on the west side of a low-pressure system. A battle at the front is between the fast foilers, and in that mix, of course, are Nico Trussell in 7th and Seb Simon in 9th. And today we're joined by Juan K, the designer of both these boats. Juan, how are you?
Very good, Andy. Nice to see you. How are you?
All good here, yes. We're just getting a few more grey hairs, you know. It feels like we're 4 weeks in. But Juan, just tell us what it's like for you watching this race at this stage.
Well, it's very passionate, fascinating. You know, the start was amazing, I suffer a lot following these guys because they've been through a pretty bad night the other day and a lot of wind, and I'm following it very closely, and sometimes it's a bit nerve-wracking, but so far it's been fascinating.
I mean, Juan, in essence, you put your reputation on the line the same as these guys put their reputations on the line.
Yeah, I mean, like in every competition at high level, nothing comes for free, and there's always a risk involved. So, you know, that's why you also work hard and go through long periods of design and long periods of testing. So making sure that everything is as good as it can be. So yes, I'm crossing fingers, and I think there are some boats will be quick in some conditions, some boats that will be quicker in other conditions, and this is what's showing up, and we'll see. I think that the start of the race has been fascinating so far, and there'll be some big changes on a daily basis, and really nice to have such a start to the race.
I mean, you've known adversity over the course of your career in the Vendée Globe. How do you deal with that personally?
Well, I mean, like I said, every project is a different experience, and it touches the technical side, the human side, and all sorts of aspects of life. So sometimes it's harder than others, but I personally live it with a lot of passion and giving my very best all the time.
Good. Tell us then a little about Kouyoumdjian and Arkea Paprec. What's the difference between the two boats?
Well, the hulls are essentially the same. They're built from the same mold. The deck and the layouts are different, and the foil configurations are different. Kouyoumdjian was a very late project that was launched only a few months ago.
Seemed to have a little
foil R&D that we have been doing. Then Arkea Paprec it was launched earlier, so it had a little bit more time of development, even though that the setbacks and the breakages we had with the foils had directly conditioned the amount of development that we could have done with the boat. But essentially it's the same hull, but the appendages in Arkea Paprec are more directed for downwind and taking off early, and the appendages on Kouyoumdjian are probably more reaching higher speeds appendages or foils.
And what have we learned so far? What have you seen?
Well, Kouyoumdjian seemed very fast in the conditions that she should be fast. I mean, of course, in the last night, there's been the passage of the front, which probably wasn't as good as other boats, and so be it. That's part of the race. But I think that Kouyoumdjian has shown to be fast where it should, and I know that Arkea is plenty fast in some conditions that will come in a few days. So I'm very hopeful that they'll be able to fight in the front.
Tell us a little bit about the design process, and Juan, the input from the teams and the skippers and your input. How does the balance emerge?
Well, the design process for these boats is very linked to the skipper and the end user. You know, in both cases, the teams, both in Kouyoumdjian and the Arkea Paprec, the teams were very much pivoting around the skippers, which at the end of the day are the ones using the product. but also they surrounded themselves with very capable people. Vincent Rioux was technical director of Arkea Paprec with a ton of knowledge and experience, and Michel Desjaillot was in a similar position with Corum. So having such a vast knowledge has helped to gel, if you will, this relationship between design and skipper. But ultimately, the design process that is set up, which is a very R&D and sort of high-tech, these boats are very high-tech process, but it's all tailored and pivoted around the skipper and the use that the skipper will do of the boat. This is slightly different than the America's Cup or the old Volvo Ocean Race, where you would rely on a crew to use the boat in a specific way. Being single-handed, you cannot really do that. So you have to adapt the design to the use. So understanding that use and understanding the limits that a single person can have, particularly in such a long race around the world, is key to the design, because it impacts and influences the design.
So are we getting towards the limits of what the human can endure?
Absolutely, Andy. I think that is the big question on this race. We know these boats are, and they got a lot better since their launch in terms of how they are handled and the living on board, but they remain extremely uncomfortable boats to sail, and nobody has really gone around the world in one of these new foilers, let alone go through the Southern Ocean. So we're going to new territories, and it's a bit of an unknown what's going to happen. But this class and this race has always been this. Every edition of these Vendée Globes races has pushed the limit further and further. So we are seeing an exceptional year, if you will, this time where these foilers have pushed the limit more than in previous editions. But nonetheless, this is the essence of the IMOCA class. And the essence of the Vendée Globe is an incredible challenge for a human being, but at the same time pushing the levels of technology applicable to the yacht design and the nautical industry to limits that haven't been done before. So we're going through very exciting times. It's an extraordinary race to follow.
Indeed. Is there anything clever can be done to improve the levels of comforts, or do you think they say we're pretty much at the limit?
There's always something better to do, but I mean, at this, it's probably too early to say. For sure, there are things that we probably haven't thought today, and that they will emerge from this Vendée Globe. Every experience you learn so much. But today, I think that they have done as much as they could on a personalized way on every boat. We need to go through this race. We need to go through this experience to understand it better and to see what else can be done. But for sure, we will learn something.
Okay, Juan, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you'll join us over the course of the race. But meantime, good luck with your two boats. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Nice to see you.
So that's Juan K. Well, sometimes the cruelty on the Vendée Globe really does know no boundaries at all. And today the skipper who really is suffering most of all is Jeremy Biou, who is coming back to Les Sables d'Olonne after encountering these technical problems. And our French colleagues, Hélène Couhoul, spoke with Jeremy, and Camille spoke with Jeremy earlier on today.
Tu vis que dans ton objectif, quoi. Et moi, depuis 4 ans, je vis dans l'objectif d'essayer de gagner le Vendée Globe, et voilà, je suis 100% là-dedans. Je vois rien de ce qui existe autour, et voilà. Donc forcément, quand ça s'arrête comme ça brutalement, c'est super violent, quoi. Donc voilà. Donc voilà, c'est pour ça que j'ai mis tant de temps à faire demi-tour aussi, et c'est sûr que j'aurais probablement dû faire demi-tour tout de suite, parce que d'aller passer le front avec le bateau en CTTR, forcément ça a fait d'autres dommages collatéraux, quoi, mais je pouvais pas y croire, en fait. Donc voilà, c'est sûr que le réveil est un peu dur, hein. Ouais. Donc voilà, je te dis, j'ai rien vu de ce qui s'est passé autour pendant 4 ans. Mon papa, il est parti à l'hôpital, il a fait un AVC une semaine avant le départ. J'ai complètement occulté tout ça, quoi. Donc forcément, tout ça là, ça m'éclate un peu la figure. Voilà, donc j'avoue là déjà, je ramène le bateau et puis je verrai après.
So particularly tough times then for Jeremy Biou. Expected back here in Les Sables d'Olonne on Saturday, and I'm quite sure he'll get a big welcome when he does come. And one skipper who is no stranger to adversity, to being knocked down and getting back up again, is Alex Thompson. It's certainly made him stronger over the course of his career.
Yeah, quite busy. Sail changes, jibes, and of course company with PRB and with Charlie on the PVR. Well, not anymore. They've gone off and left me. I don't know. I think I quite like where I am actually. But yeah, it was busy night for all of us. Everybody was doing sail changes, and I guess everybody was a bit tired of the south. I guess nobody really wanted to follow me. I think you could say that, Andy. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I'm not the most tired I've ever been, but I'm very aware of that I need to get some sleep, and it's so easy to make silly mistakes. So yeah, I'm gonna crack on and have some sleep in a minute. Yeah, no, I said in one of my videos yesterday, I think, it's terrible news. Nobody would wish that on anybody, and Jeremy's worked harder than anybody probably. He's done an extra year with his boat. He's got a great team, great technical director. He's done it all, and he's the first one flying in the sky. So I'm devastated for him. Andy, is he potentially going to come back and carry on? Oh, good. I do hope so. I mean, it must be. I know myself. It's very hard to be able to pick yourself up and particularly, I guess, going back to Les Sables and starting again all on your own. But I'm sure he'll make the right decision, and that'll probably be, governed by the damage and how long it, takes to fix it properly. Because I guess the worst thing would be to set off, with the knowledge that you can't do, a proper 100% repair, and then you're on your own in the Southern Ocean. It's not, it's tough. But yeah, I feel for him. I feel for his team. I feel for the sponsors. Unfortunately, that's just the thing that happens in this race. I'm two out of form myself, eh? So yeah, I hate the feeling. I hate seeing it happen to anybody else, particularly someone like Jeremy. Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, not fully worked out. I'm going to play it yet, but yeah, it's tricky.
Alex Thompson then devastated for Jeremy Biou. He knows that feeling only too well. Out on the race course, a ray of sunshine all the time is Pip here with your first chat live with Pip earlier on today.
It's great out here. It's been, the first couple of days really have been quite challenging. There's been a lot of mode changes. We had a fearsome front coming over, and they're just throwing a bit of everything at us really. And I've known always that this boat is hard work to keep it going. All of the evolution's quite hard, and yesterday after the front went over just was exhausting. There's just so much to do, and it's just sort of one thing after another. Yeah, it was quite a full-on day, but I'm really happy with the way the boat's going. I need to eat a bit more for sure because I keep running out of juice, and I've spent pretty much the whole night alongside Arno in La Micaline, which has focused me somewhat. So yeah, I'm trying to. I actually had a bit this morning, and I reckon I've got about 3 or 4 hours sort of towards the middle of the day before things start changing again. But I've got a bit of a job list, so I'm kind of going to do job, sleep, job, sleep, job, sleep.
Well, we're just laughing a little bit at Callie and Pip here being close together. Callie, of course, went round the 2008 Vendée Globe pretty much in company with Dee Cafari, and this time he's beside Pip here. I think he's just moved a little bit away. But let's have a look at the standings today at midday UTC. Well, as we said, Alex Thompson on top on Hugo Boss. He is 6.1 miles ahead of Benjamin Dutroux. Thomas Riong in third at 8.2 miles behind Alex. Charlie Dallan in fourth, 9.3 miles behind. And Jean Le Cam fifth at 10.5 miles behind. Sam Davis up in 8th place. She's 28 miles behind the leader on day 4, which is great going for Sam. Then looking further down the table at the internationals, in 15th place we have Alan Rura from Switzerland, 70.4 miles behind, just ahead of Boris Herrmann from Germany. In 16th, he's 72 miles off the leader. And Giancarlo Pedotti from Italy is in 17th, 74 miles behind. Kojiro, who we spoke to yesterday, is 20th, 104 miles behind. And Didac Costa in 22nd at 110. A little bit further down the table then, Pip Hare in 25th, 131 miles. Miranda Merrin is only 2 miles behind Pip Hare, so a great race going on there. Finland's Ari Husela is in 27th, 148 miles behind, and that's our main internationals then. The weather situation, well, everybody's focused really on this tropical storm Theta, which we're expecting the first boats to be into tomorrow. Early, and it's going to be a difficult Friday the 13th. Let's have a look at the weather. Weather today, well, it's on the agenda really is this little low pressure system here. You're seeing the boats on the west side of that, so that's Thomas Rion, Charlie Dallin, the faster foilers. They're out on the top northwesterly side of the low, and their regime today is generally downwind in 20 knots, something like that, and they're routing in just to the southwest of, southeast of the Azores. So a fairly straightforward day for them. Not so easy for the boats coming closer to the centre of the low, a little bit more wind and quite unsettled seas. But all eyes really are on Theta, which is this tropical depression, which I think the first boats of the fast foilers should start to encounter it around about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then really, if we look at the second slide to get a better idea of the evolution of it, or the routing, let's say we're coming into the southeast of the Azores, then come straight down, and all the time the objective is to get round this west side of Theta. So let's look at the third slide. As I say, in the centre of Theta here, well, you don't want to be caught on this side. We're seeing 45, 50 knots, big seas on the east side as it moves east. But the key side, really, the key route is down this west side. We have 40 knots from the northeast and more northerly as you go further to the west. So the routing to the west is definitely the main objective, as I say, for the fast foilers. Coming down here, we're seeing the initial encounter with Theta is round about 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow morning for the faster boats, and then it's going to be a difficult Friday, Saturday for the boats coming a little bit later. The objective beyond that is really trying to get away from the high pressure which is evolving behind. There's a big vacuum left behind Theta, so there's a certain element of being as fast as possible to get away. And then into the trades. The trades are quite well established for the faster foilers. It's really a case of getting the foot down and getting down through the trades, and then the doldrums are pretty active after that. So they really do need to be quick. It's going to be a little bit of a rich get richer situation initially, but we are seeing not too much difference on the approach to the doldrums between the daggerboard boats and the foilers, maybe only about 10 hours. So all to play for, and looking ahead, it's going to be a difficult Friday the 13th. Well, very different to last Vendée Globe 4 years ago. It really was a motorway south then, if you remember Alex Thompson setting the record across the equator, and already in a little bit of a duel with Armand Lecléache. We're joined today by Sam Goodchild, our British or French-based British Figaro sailor, also an old team sailor of some repute, on standby shortly to go with Sodebo. Sam, how are you today?
Hi, very well, thanks, Andy. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. So what are your thoughts on this race so far? You're obviously fully engaged.
It's been fascinating to watch, hasn't it? I mean, it's been pretty full on for the sailors. There hasn't really been any time to relax more than a couple of hours. I'm not sure relax is the word. And it doesn't seem like it's going to calm down for the next couple of days. So it's fascinating for us to watch at sea, and the realisation of watching Jeremy turn around really shows you how quickly these things can change.
These things, does that make you want to do the race more when you see that level of adversity, when you've put your life on the line for 4 years and it's over in a matter of minutes?
I mean, I guess what drags us towards the Vendée Globe is the challenge and how hard it is, and nothing's given. So if you want to do the Vendée Globe in the first place, you're not scared by challenge and the unknown. So doesn't put us off. It's hard to watch the videos and hard to follow people like Jeremy and see what he said this morning, but it's part of the game, unfortunately.
I mean, part of the game. You had a pretty tough La Solitaire this year, all in all. Started off fantastically and then just cruel at the end.
Yeah, it was difficult. It's a slightly different situation, but yeah, the last 30 miles of the Solitaire this year really decided the result for me, and it was the best I've ever sailed, and I didn't really get the result I could have done at the end. So not an easy one to live through, but it's not the first time I've been knocked back, and I'm definitely going to come back again stronger next year and the next races we're doing.
I mean, that was the message that Juan was saying as well. Everybody says you get on the horse and you get on with the next challenge. You've got a nice challenge coming up now with Sodebo.
Yeah, so we'll be on standby towards the end of the month for the Jules Verne record. So that's around the world non-stop. But we haven't got the ice skates, the Vendée Globe, so it's a bit of a shorter course, but the boats are a bit faster and multi-hulls are a little bit more dangerous as well. So it's going to be an interesting challenge. The fortunate thing is there's 8 of us on board, led by Thomas Koval, who's done the lap quite a few times, so we're in good company. And I'm looking forward to getting into it, really. And maybe we'll see a few Vendée boats on the way around.
Indeed. But it's all good learning for you. I mean, you look at the difference between your career 4 years ago and looking hopefully towards 2024. You've got some great experience behind you now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been aiming to do the Vendée Globe for quite a while now, but not in any sort of rushed manner. I quite like to do it sensibly well and with a chance of getting a decent result. So the experience I've got with the Figaro and with the Multi and with the old teams and a little bit on the Imocas is definitely setting me up to hope to be in a good place in 2024 and 2028 if all goes to plan. Yeah.
What's your pathway? What's your plan then? What would you like to see happen?
Oh, the aim is to carry on building my experience sailing with people like Thomas and the Sodebo team and everyone else that's on board, and then get on the Jacques Vabre and the Route du Rhum start line, and then work myself into an IMOCA as and when we can. It's a project I've been working on for a while, and like I said, I'm not in any sort of I need to get to the Vendée Globe at all costs, but it is an objective, and every decision I make in my sailing career is what will get me in a better position to win a Vendée Globe, whether it's experience or sponsor or the fact that I live in France now is a big decision about that. So I'm going to carry on going down that path, and like you say, I'm getting closer than I am 4 years ago. And
your reputation in France gets stronger every year. I mean, the La Solitaire has helped you immeasurably.
For sure, I think I surprised a lot of people, not first myself on the Solitaire this year, and showing that I can really put it to the top guys in offshore sailing these days. And my aim is to carry on doing that and carry on learning, carry on improving. The sport's a sport where you never stop improving, you never stop learning. You can see with older people that manage to still remain competitive. So I can continue doing that. Yeah.
No, for sure. So what's the program with Sodebo? You're on standby for a little while?
Yeah, so we had a little bit of an accident with the foil a month or so ago, so it's being repaired at the moment. And as soon as that's repaired, we'll be back on standby. So we think that should be in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And Alex leading. Will give us a comment on Alex Thompson taking the lead just now.
It's great to see Alex leading. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone to see him there. His boat was a little bit of an unknown before the start, having not been able to race against the others, apart from the Jacques Vabre. But there's no surprise to see him there, and I think he could be a permanent feature in this race if he doesn't have any nasty surprises.
Good. Thank you very much, Sam. Hopefully we'll join you again before you go away on your round the world record attempt on the Sodebo. Thank you so much, Sam Goodchild.
Thanks, Andy.
Giancarlo Pedotti, he knows how to look after himself after the big storm the other day, and this was Giancarlo cooking up his dinner.
E voilà, a bordo di Prismian Group mi faccio anche le uova, che non sono per niente male le uova a bordo. Uova, prosciutto del Casentino e formaggini. Ci si merita dopo la giornata che abbiamo passato. Una bella cenetta e nanna.
Well, Giancarlo is obviously taking plenty of fresh food with him, looking after himself, as indeed all the skippers need to do on this Vendée Globe. Look after yourselves. Join us again tomorrow at the same time, 13:30 here in Les Sables d'Olonne in France, 12:30 in London. Speak to you then.